So these are my most used powdered vegetables: zucchini, tomato, peppers, mushrooms, cucumbers, which does have a flavor as opposed to the zucchini. It just adds like a really fresh flavor, which I adore. Especially good in dips or any really heavy food. If you add a little bit of zucchini, a little bit of cucumber, brightens it right up. Squash, and then a mixed veggie mix, which I use in most of my soups, that kind of stuff. And this is just a super good if you grind them up. If you have kids who don't like veggies, if you do a powder and put it in stuff, then they don't get the chunkiness of the veggie, but they get all the vitamins and that kind of stuff. And it's super duper amazing. If you want any of these individual powders or a mix of any of them, let me know. And we can figure out how much you'd like and how much it might cost. So I just wanted to show you guys really quick because I have a lot of people who ask about how I make my powders. So this is dehydrated zucchini, dehydrated tomatoes, and a variety of dehydrated peppers. Sweet, red, green, all kinds of peppers in here. You can kind of see. I use my peppers a lot. But what I do is I dehydrate them in slices and small chunks, that kind of stuff, and then store them in airtight containers. And then I have a coffee grinder, but I've also used like a blender, a good blender, and I grind them. And as you can see at the top here, it makes a powder. And as you can see, I have finished grinding. It needs a little bit more. Once you open it, you can kind of see, but it makes it a fine powder in there. Grinding. If I have some bigger chunks like I did, I shake it up a little just to kind of move where it's all at. Just to get some of the finer stuff off the top so it doesn't fall and I lose it. But then it makes this, and since I'm putting it into my chili / taco soup, it doesn't need to be super duper fine, but I use this for everything. I put it in spaghetti sauce, I put it in my soups, anything I make, I put it in. From when I do rice, like I put my water or broth in, and then I add some of this in, and it adds just that little bit of flavor. But see, look at that, isn't that beautiful? You never do too much at once, because if you put too much in, it can go bad. It doesn't go bad, it just gets clumpy and it kind of solidifies, and so you have to use a big chunk at once. But because I do it like this, as you can tell, it's a fine grain. It's flour-esque in its consistency because it's a powder. So, and I made this blend specifically today for my chili. So I put all my stuff in. It's been cooking for a few hours. It's gonna be delicious. It always is. So I let it cook. It's relatively cooked at this point. And then toward the end of the process, I fill it in with this. Probably put about a tablespoon in right there. And I mix it in. And what this will do, number one, zucchini doesn't really have a flavor. If you don't know, zucchini is relatively flavorless when mixed in with things. So it won't have a flavor. Then I put tomatoes and peppers in. Tomatoes and peppers are what's already in here. So it just adds to that depth of flavor. But because it's dehydrated and ground up, when you put it in like this, it acts more like a flour or cornstarch, and it will thicken this up so it won't be so liquidy. it will be a thicker style soup slash chili, because it's kind of a mix of both. So that's what I love to do, especially on cold, rainy, snowy days like today, so that it gets nice and thick. And then we eat it with chips and some sour cream and some cheese, and it makes just a really awesome meal. And then this one pot will also feed us for 3 or 4 days easily. So I make these blends in lots of different varieties, but this one was just the peppers, tomatoes, and zucchini, because that's what worked with this dish. But I make a seasoning with a bunch of dehydrated veggies and stuff that is amazing in dips. So like a ranch dip, we call it a veggie ranch when I add all this in, because it is amazing. So if you're interested in learning more about this, or you would like to buy some powders, either like singular, like if you want just tomato powder or just zucchini, let me know. I have a lot, and I'm happy to give you some so you can try it. And so that way next gardening season, you can plan your garden so that you can have this in your everyday food.